Hello and welcome to Digital Publishing Online, and I'm Lisa Gabrielle. And this week, I'd like to talk to you about finalizing your advertising campaign as well as finalizing all your work in the class because we've only got two weeks left and we're finishing up. I'm going to produce two videos this week. One is going to review with you how to prepare your work for the advertising campaign, how to finish up on that project, and how to package that up and submit that for grading. And then, in addition, in the class, we also have a portfolio that's required. So I'm also going to review with you this week how to combine all your work from the class into one final portfolio and submit that for your portfolio grade. Okay, so there'll be two videos this week explaining those two areas, and I actually might cross over at some time in the lecture or in the video, referring to one or the other preparation technique, but I'll let you know when I do that. Okay, so we've been discussing, and I've been using this example here in several other videos. This is a student piece that was created, and it's been handy in helping me to illustrate um, the proper setup for brochure design, what a final finished piece looks like, and all of that. So when you're finished with your campaign, you're going to end up with pretty much what you see here. A two-page InDesign document with design work filling both pages. Okay. So what I'm going to discuss with you here is a couple of PDFs that I've posted to the classroom this week. And that first PDF that I'd like to talk to you about is how to finish up on this advertising campaign. Okay, we've been working on it now for about 8 weeks, or actually 6 weeks. And we're going to start to prepare our work for the final. Okay. So I have a handout here called How to Prepare Your Final Work for the Advertising Campaign. And this video that I'm creating here is the video that you can watch that will review the handout that you see here on the screen. I've written up a handout, and it's a two-page handout. So we're going to talk about this today. And just so you know, a couple of the challenges that I've been experiencing in finishing up and finalizing this class is because this is really the first time I'm taking content that I had traditionally taught in the classroom for years and years and years and adapting it to an online format. It's been very difficult because this is a very highly visual class, very tactile. You get involved with folding and hands-on, and all of that has to be removed, but yet I'm still trying to get all the same points across. And unfortunately, I had to cut out a couple of things in the final preparation for this campaign. And just so you know what I had to cut out, for instance, in the face-to-face classroom, the students at this point would seek out printouts at an outside source, whether it be a service bureau or a lot of times I would help students print out like intermediate prints in the classroom. And we would physically trim them out with tools and actually fold this brochure up. And I would look and see how accurately the students did all the math on the folds and how accurately your brochure folded together and did it fold together as you intended and so on and so forth. Unfortunately, it's very difficult for me to do any of that stuff in an online forum. I considered having you still do that and shooting photos of everything, but then it just got really complicated to write up a how-to on how to do something like that. And then I was afraid that it would cause so many questions towards the end of the semester that, it would bog down finishing up the class. So I tried to simplify a lot of the final content as best I could, and I ended up with what I'm going to review with you here today. And this is trying to adapt a highly visual class to an online format. Big struggle, but I think I did it. All right, so here we go. What you're going to do for this final, for the advertising campaign is you're going to prepare your work digitally, as well as you're going to prepare a process PDF. Now, in the face-to-face classroom, what the students would do was turn in a binder that um, had all of their process work in it. Instead, online, you're going to turn in a PDF that has all your process work in it. So basically, right here, I have an example for you. Okay, so I have this PDF here that I've created, and I'm using some work from a student who is doing quite well in the class, and hope she doesn't mind that I'm using her work as an example. But this is her process PDF. And in this PDF is all the work that she's done for this project up till this point. And you can kind of see looking at these thumbnails here, there's all her comprehensive sketch work and her folded mock-ups. After that, there's all of her comprehensive research on all of the content, the text, the images, the artwork that is going to go into this project. Also, she has a lot of information in terms of bibliography. So she has for each image, she has a citation here, and then she explains how she's going to put it into the brochure. So this was all her work that was done, I believe it was week. Let's see, which week was that? That looks like it may have been week 10. Down here, these two examples right here are the um, PDFs that she submitted to the critique for student feedback. Okay, so those will also show up in here. Now, what's not in here, but what you're required to put in yours is the PDF that you post on your postcard designs for feedback from the instructor, which is actually going on this week. That's why I don't have that sample here. So this process document is actually incomplete because there's some missing components that I don't have access to just yet because we haven't finished the class. But I think you get the idea. So basically, you're submitting one process document, and inside that process document, all of the work leading up to the final will be listed. So all your sketch and mock-up work, all your identify content work, and all of your intermediate PDFs that you posted for critique or for feedback from the instructor will all be presented inside this PDF. Okay, so going back to the handout, what I do is I explained exactly what I just told you right here in the first half of this handout. Basically, it says organize, name, and save your files. So I explained that you need to go out and find all the PDFs that you submitted each week. So you need to find the work you submitted from week 9, week 10, week 11, week 12, and then the final work, which will be the actual finished work. Okay, will end up in there as well. Okay, so you'll have the all the process work that you've done in the past for the class will all be presented in one PDF. Okay, and then I proceed to tell you the process that's involved in merging together multiple PDFs because all of those prior weeks that you were working through this project, I each week had you submitting a PDF, and there was a reason why I had you submitting a PDF, and the reason is because at the end I knew you would be putting together this process PDF. So since you have a multi-set of PDFs, you're going to use some utilities, which are listed in the second step here. And I've also got those same utilities posted in the classroom. I'm going to go back here to eCampus. Um, Again, I'm not going to specify a week here because I use these videos for different durations of class, but I'm going to go into the week that we're addressing, preparing the final work here. And I have a set of links in here for you to use to merge PDFs. There's three options that you have depending on your situation at home. There's uh, multi options here because I have students who are working on Macs as well as students who are working on PCs. So you choose the option that works for you that will help you merge these PDFs together. Okay, so going back to the here, so that's what step 2 is describing, is how to merge together all these multiple PDFs from all these different weeks. Okay. Now, that's one component you'll be submitting for the final on the advertising campaign. The other component for the advertising campaign that you'll be submitting and will be graded on is your digital files. Okay. And again, this is another struggle here. Working with so many varied files in an online format, I had to really simplify the package process, which is typically what I don't do in a face-to-face classroom. But online, it just gets. I just don't want to get too many files from you guys that are disorganized. So I've simplified the packaging process into where you'll just be packaging the InDesign documents only, the INDDs, and the fonts. Okay, those are the only two things you'll be submitting for both your brochure and for your postcard. Okay, and the reason for that is because the images that are attached to your projects more than likely are going to be quite large in size. And I don't want to have to put you through having to upload those massive files to eCampus and then having all these issues and getting all these emails about people not able to upload files, and then on my end having to download all those large files to grade your work. So I think I can still get the gist of grading your digital files by just collecting your INDD files and your fonts only. Okay, just so that's clear. So the second handout here is explaining how to package your files by just collecting the fonts only and not the images. So these instructions, although they're very, very similar to the first set of instructions that you used on the first project when you packaged your files for the type variations book, they're pretty much the same except you will not be collecting images for this project. Okay, so I explain here that you'll be doing packaging of both your brochure and postcard. So just bear in mind as you get started here, you'll be packaging the brochure in one folder and you'll be packaging the postcard in another folder, just so that's clear. Okay. Also, I'm going to go ahead and zoom up here on this handout. Down here, um, in this bottom section right here, I have a little example of a list of what you should be turning in for your campaign project. Okay, so basically, simply said, you'll be turning in a process PDF, and that process PDF will include all the work from week 9 all the way to week 14. You'll be turning in a folder of files for the brochure, and that will include your InDesign document and your fonts for the brochure, as well as you'll be turning in a folder for the postcard, and inside that folder, you're going to have the fonts for the postcard and the INDD file for that as well. Okay, just so that's clear. And over here, I've given you the kind of visual window that you'll be dealing with when you get into package and what you need to have checked to only get the package utility to collect the fonts and not the images. Okay. Very, very important that you don't try and submit images this week for your final, because I can guarantee you will probably have upload problems if you attempt to do that. So think uh, as you're working through these instructions and try and hit every one of these areas in terms of setting up your package. Okay, so it's important that you take a look at this handout and watch this video. I'm not going to go through the package process because I was very, very detailed in kind of describing each and every step that you need to go through to package that final advertising campaign. So there shouldn't be any problems. But again, if there's a question, you can always post it in the weekly problems and solutions area. Okay, I believe that's it for preparing the final advertising campaign. So I'm going to end this video. In the next video, I'm going to talk about preparing your work for the final portfolio.